Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? So, there's a saint. Her name is Saint Therese of Lisieux. Her name's been coming up a lot lately in readings and things I've been doing, and so there's two things that I know that are associated with her. One is roses, like the smell of roses or actual roses. The second thing is she has like a little saying that to do ordinary things with extraordinary love. I tried to do this. I've tried to implement this in my life. Just, cleaning and be joyful that I have something to clean, that I'm capable of cleaning, that there are people in my life that make a mess and I get to clean it up. Okay? I know that's really weird. But anyway, we had to pick potatoes, and I didn't want to pick potatoes because to me it's too warm yet to pick potatoes, but the men think they know everything, and so therefore we are picking potatoes in a pretty big potato patch. I can't even go into it, but anyway, so I'm sitting there digging in the dirt, right, grounding out totally, like for at least a good month, just picking potatoes and talking with my kids, or my daughter mostly, but picking potatoes and reminding myself to be doing this with extraordinary love. It's not that easy to do, let me tell you, because somebody is always complaining about something, and then it's hotter than heck, right? You're sweating. All you smell is sweat, dirt. And it's like, how in the heck can I get my mindset to be on doing this ordinary thing with extraordinary love? It's really hard. And then the men started fighting because, so-and-so's driving the tractor wrong. Somebody's not doing this, and he's not paying attention to that. And I'm just like, I'm done, you guys. Like, there's no extraordinary love in this whole situation. It just was so backwards. We finally quit halfway because I was like, if we're going to process these potatoes, like if we're going to do something with them besides put them in my mother's root cellar, like we have to stop. Okay, stop, because I have almost four of the burlap bags, right, full of potatoes. I'm wondering what they did with the burlap sacks from last year, because we had a bunch and then I just don't know what happened to them, which is a really good, interesting thing I'm gonna have to ask. But yeah, it's not that easy. I am sorry. Like, I've been trying. You don't have to be Catholic to pray to saints, or look her up if you're interested. She's a really fascinating person, and but yeah, I'm trying, but it's sometimes those ordinary situations just don't make the cut. It's like so hard. But anyway, today I really don't know what we're doing. I had it in my head before I started this, and now I can't remember. So 3 things: be kind, be forgiving, be you. And let's go check out this video on something. And to our soap, I figured, since we were talking about a saint today, I would do my church flowers soap. And why am I calling it church flowers? Well, because I was sitting in church, and sometimes it's just a thing I do. So sometimes I am designing soaps in my head in church for certain reasons that you don't need to know. But anyway, so the colors, that's where the church flowers came from, because the colors they had in church were this very pretty green and this beautiful yellow and a wonderful like periwinkle blue, purple, if you want to go with that. Okay. I am using Burst of Joy from Nurture's Homemade. I used it at 5%. I would say definitely use it at least 6% usage, which you can do. And I was so afraid it was one of those again that I felt like the scent just died after I made it and it started to cure, but it came back because it's a very, very beautiful scent in the soap, and I've had some good reviews from it, so yes. Okay, so my colors, like I said, there's yellow, so that is Buttercup Yellow by Brambleberry, and this one is Apple Moss by Brambleberry. And then for my for the blue periwinkle, I was looking for a periwinkle blue. I used baby blue from Nurture's Homemade and Purple Rain from Brambleberry. Just a little bit, okay, of the Purple Rain. And then I guess we did use, oh yeah, and titanium dioxide. Also, this was a double bowl swirl with a drop swirl. One thing, I think this would have been better executed if my soap batter wasn't quite so thin. If I would have let it set up just a little bit, because I think drop swirls have more effect when they're just, like syrup. When you're making syrup on the stove, when it starts to stick to the spoon and it's just a little bit thicker, and not to say that this didn't turn out. It did turn out. I just think I would prefer it to be a little bit thicker the next time I do this, because you'll see. But I just think drop swirls, they just do turn out, just like the sweet orange chili. You get that where the batter is sticking to the spoon and it's a little bit thick, but it's not super thick. And, like, it's the difference between like thin pancake batter and thick pancake batter, So, I mean, and I'm sure the fragrance oil had a lot to do with this because it was on the thin side. So for my double bowl drop swirl, I am adding the green to the white, as you can see there. And then I am going to add the periwinkle blue. That's what I was hoping for. Might have needed a little bit more purple. I mean, it wasn't bad, actually. It didn't turn out bad. You're always guessing if it's a new color you're making, how the fragrance oil is going to affect it in the soap. And then I put my yellow into the blue. Buttercup Yellow into the blue. It looks more orange, doesn't it? And then, so for the thin drop swirl, I start off right on the bottom, and so not your traditional drop swirl. No. And see, like here, you kind of start to worry, like I always do, that the soap is going to turn out muddy, because it's just, now those drops, that's a thicker drop right there. So, it's starting to thicken up, which is great. Absolutely great. And it actually thickened up quite fast because I was able to do a splotchy thick top. As you can see there, I added the yellow, which that is not Buttercup Yellow. That is like orange. Like, there's no way to say that's Buttercup Yellow, guys. Right? But a nice splotchy thick top. Nice thick swirly top. Yes, I had fun with those this summer. And look at that beautiful Buttercup Yellow came back. I was so worried. I really was worried. But it came back a beautiful yellow buttercup color. Yes. I'm so happy. It was like, our church flowers were not orange at this time. They were, I don't know if somebody had brought them. Nah, there were too many of them. Must have been a purchase or something, but they were so pretty. I mean, just a gorgeous arrangement of these beautiful yellow and blue, periwinkle blue, and then the greenery, and it was so pretty. Yeah, so pretty. So here's my drop swirl. It's kind of a funky drop swirl. It's not what you would call a basic drop swirl, because even my normal double bowl drop swirls, it's very different. Like you can see, I gotta watch that. You can see how I poured down, one side and down the other, so it was like split in half. Yeah, that's kind of funny that it actually is so prominent in this bar that, oh, this is where you dropped it over here, you dropped it over here. Whoops. A little bit bleeding makeup there. But yeah, this bar turned out great. They're absolutely cute. And here are the fragrance notes for this bright, refreshing bar. Here are the bars right after I cut them, and here are the bars when they are totally cured. I love the blue. I really do. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. God bless.